Is it rolling?
Yeah.
For me, I was struggling with motivation. The commitment it takes to make an album is considerable. I was scared of committing to something and not putting all of myself into it.
We had to take lots of time off. I personally had to take a lot of time off, and I let myself sort of fall in love with it again and sort of be drawn to it. It didn't feel like I was going to be able to be creative because it had disappeared. It was so fragmented and sort of difficult to even sort of start making music after the time that had gone before.
There was always a lingering feeling amongst the two of us that there was more to be said, and there was unfinished business, I think, that eventually fueled, inspired the album.
It was a time that was maybe the most darkest and most difficult time of my life, really. It was the culmination of many years of problems, difficulties, and working, touring. It was taking every ounce of energy from me to do the shows. It started with a physical thing, and then when that happened, that's when the sort of psychological and mental part of it kicked in, and it was a sort of hurricane. It's something that is there always, you know, it's something that's there in my life and in Adam's life. The whole time we've been in a band, the ebb and the flow of our mood and our psychological state, you know, but these sorts of moods and feelings, and they make great subject matter for songs, but when you're in the moment, it's not possible. You have to be in a positive frame of mind to make music and be creative. You have to be lucid.
For me, it comes down to authenticity. It's a word I use a lot when I talk about this album. And I think I use that word so freely because it's not a word that I've been able to use that much for the past few years. My response to feeling vulnerable mentally was to not give all of myself in the music I made. This album, I was personally strong enough to go towards my true nature, really. And I've not felt like that for a decade.
That song came at a point which was particularly low. It's a very difficult song for me to listen to because that was the lowest point of making the album. That was when I was at the worst, when that song came around. I could barely sing it because it was so emotional to me. I've been open on lots of songs before, but it is as raw and as honest, really, as a song as I've ever written.
I think that was the moment where we hit upon something that was extremely real and very tangible, the emotion of it. I think part of that was the lyric, which felt to me like a step forward for Theo.
The lyrics for the song, they came quickly because as soon as I committed to confront exactly how I was feeling and not hold back, they came. It was at that point that I realized that, okay, if this is gonna be that kind of album, then this is something that, as painful as it might be, you're going to have to write about.
Me and Theo, we have great days, we have bad days. We have to work at it really hard, and some days we have it and some days we don't. And my memory of Suffer was that it was a day we didn't have it. I remember going into the kitchen in the studio we were in and turning on a coffee machine, and it made this horrible sound. So we looped this coffee machine, and then that became a bass line. The juxtaposition between feeling like we had nothing to an hour later having this sprawling tune that was 8 minutes long or whatever it was. Fully complete, lyrics written, production sorted, everything. It's like the eye of the storm of being in our band that one day. It was a catalyst for a few songs on the record. It gave us a lot of confidence. All I ever wanted to do when I was younger was I wanted to soundtrack the way people feel. That's why I loved music. I wasn't interested in the technical aspect of music. I just wanted to feel something, and I wanted to connect it with a certain emotion that I felt or a situation. I always wanted to make music like that, and I think this album, we've done that. I like to think that it's going to mean something to a lot of people, and it's been a while since I've been able to say that with a lot of conviction.
When somebody comes up to me and says, that song means a lot to me, they've found a reflection of themselves in something that that I've written about. What people I think forget is that the transaction goes both ways. So when somebody says to me that they relate to it, it's a weight lifted off my shoulders.
At some point in making the album, I felt a huge sense of pride, a sense of purpose. We didn't make an album to escape how we felt, we made one to soundtrack it. And I think perhaps that's why it sounds confident and why there is strength in it, because we both took ownership for how we felt. We really went towards some very dark places. For me, at some point, you have to trust yourself. Like, there's a tendency amongst artists, I think, especially when you're younger, to look to what other people are doing, to think about how other people can assist you, can help you achieve your goals. But at some point, you have to just say, I'm going to take full responsibility for this. And most of the best work comes from people that, for better or worse, stick to a vision. And it's the discrepancies in that vision, the idiosyncrasies that exist within that vision that make it unique. And I think it took me personally a long time to realize that that's how art works.
The fact that we have fans that will support us all this time and that have supported us to get to this point is a really beautiful thing, you know, because I feel like it's a record that we wouldn't have been able to make had we not been supported through this whole 10 years of making music.
For me, I miss playing live massively. I miss the connection, seeing songs move people in such an obvious way right in front of you. When you're in that situation, you realize why you make music. And when all that gets taken away and you feel like something's missing and you cherish it a bit more.
When you look at 10 years worth of music and 10 years worth of albums and things like that, I think hopefully that gives people a comprehensive look at who we are as people, and it's a catalogue of work that tells a story. And this chapter is one that we've needed to tell. Choosing to end the album with a song like Darkest Hour, I think that was important because the album takes a difficult and dark road at times, and I think we're hopeful people, and I think the essence of hope in all of our music is what is in its DNA. To write a song like Darkest Hour, which was one of the last songs we wrote, really, it felt like to end it with a message of there might be someone out there to help, I think was quite key. We're just so proud of what we made, and both of us really have put everything into it. We didn't know what kind of music we wanted to make, but we knew we wanted to feel proud of it and feel intensely connected to it.
When we got towards the end of making it, I think the two of us realised that we'd done our best work. I think it's an album that doesn't touch upon darkness. I think it indulges it, it goes towards it. The power lies in that pointed direction towards what is often quite bleak.
The fact that we did that essentially against all odds because of the way the album was made and the tumultuous and treacherous road we went on. The fact that we've come out the other end and made it is an amazing feeling, because it just shows that after all this time and after everything we've been through, we still are able to communicate what we want to do properly.
I think we'll always have complete faith in each other when it comes to making music. We've known each other 15 years. There's an unspoken trust between us. You could put us in a room and we could write a song without speaking. It's like our own language, I think. Can't take that away from us.